Hey everyone, it's Jess. So today I am going to be telling you the story that is very close to my heart, how we got our amazing dog Holly. This is Holly right here. She is a pit lab mix. She is a victim of dog fighting. There's a lot that goes into it, but I wanted to kind of put the whole story into a video for everybody to kind of A, let everyone know how we got this amazing dog and how happy we are and all of those kinds of things. And B, to kind of raise awareness to a really prevalent issue, especially in the South, of dog fighting. So a few years ago I was living in South Florida and I was working at a barn that was kind of in like the rural part of South Florida, kind of more inland. So I was driving down a country road and Holly was running in the middle of the street and she looked really beat up. Her ears are obviously, really messed up. She was really skinny, was full of milk on her chest. Looked like she had just had puppies, and she was really small too, and she had scratches and stuff all over her. I was worried about her, and I figured that she might get hit by a car, so I figured I would put her in the back of my car and take her to the animal shelter, to animal services, and they would take care of her. And I called animal services and they told them I had a pit bull in the back of my car and I was going to take her to them. They told me that they would put her down by the end of the day because she was a pit, which meant that she was considered unadoptable. So the lady on the phone told me that the best option that I had was to either keep her or rehome her myself because animal services would put her down because at the time that was a kill shelter. So David and I decided to keep her and nurse her back to health. She had hookworms, tapeworms. She had to be put on an antibiotic because she was full of milk and they didn't want her to get an infection. She also had heartworms, which was an entirely different process. Heartworms, if you don't know, it's a type of worm that is transmitted by mosquito bites, and they start in the heart and then they grow into the pulmonary artery, into the lungs, and then after that they start suffocating the dog and the dog normally dies from it. It's a very serious thing, which I didn't know at the time. So we treated her in a non-traditional way for heartworms, which is a totally different story, but she is heartworm free and we were so happy about it. After talking to all of the shelters, I found out pretty much exactly what happened to her, because she wasn't the first one to be found and definitely not the last one to be found in that area with the same conditions as her. So because of her scarring and her ears and things like that, they believe her to have been a bait dog and a breeder dog for a dog fighting ring. So a breeder dog, obviously, you'll see them in puppy mills, in dog fighting rings. Unfortunately, it's really sad. They breed the dogs super young, super quickly. So as far as I know, dogs are able to have puppies every 6 months, and they can start at 6 months. And from what the vet was saying, Holly was 1.5 years when I found her, and they said that she would have had either 2 or 3 litters based on her body, which means that best case scenario, she either had 2 sets of puppies in a year's span or possibly 3, starting at just 6 months old, which to me is just horrifying in and of itself, and it's so heartbreaking. All of the puppies that she would have had would either be used again as breeder dogs, bait dogs, or fighting dogs. They also think that she was a bait dog too because of the way that her ears are clipped. So a bait dog is a small, fast dog that they put in the ring with 2 other dogs that are about to fight. And the bait dog is supposed to run away from these big, scary dogs. The big dogs attack the small bait dog, they get them all riled up, and then they take the bait dog out of the ring and let the 2 dogs fight. So Holly has a lot of bite marks on her neck and her shoulders and her head, so they believe her to have been a bait dog as well. So having my beautiful, amazing animal, I have learned a lot about dog fighting, what to look for, and things like that. When I was working out in that rural part of Florida, when I was working at the barn, every morning I would go and feed the horses that I was taking care of. And every morning I would hear a huge amount of dogs barking around breakfast time. To me, I didn't think anything of it. I figured that there might have been like a development close by or something, and if one dog starts barking, then all of the other dogs in the neighborhood start barking. But now that I know in that area there was a dog fighting ring, it's very clear to me to now think that those dogs that were barking that I could hear very clearly in the morning and at night were from the dog fighting ring. What the shelter also told me is, especially in the South, dogfighting is primarily from illegal Mexican immigrants or other immigrants that are unable to work legally in the United States. So what they do is they move from farm to farm looking for work to be paid under the table. And typically that's, in the South, it's Mexican immigrants. So what happens is they kind of move like gypsies to where they have this entire compound of illegal immigrants that are unable to work legally. They move from farm to farm. They follow the crops throughout the South United States so they can work almost all year round. And they bring their dogfighting rings and arenas with them. And it's really sad that animals like Holly have to suffer through this. And it hurts my heart. When we got Holly, when we brought her home, we were nursing her back to health. We were treating her for the heartworms. We also had to put her through desensitizing training, which the shelter helped us with. So we were working with her on, feeding her, taking food away from her, see if she was triggered by anything aggressively. We worked with her with loud noises and umbrellas opening and kids and things like that. And throughout all of that training, I was really impressed with this animal that has gone through so much in her life and yet is just this most amazing, loving creature and the best dog that I could have asked for. Throughout having Holly, I have learned a lot. I'm a first-time dog owner with her. She's the first dog that I've ever owned, so I've learned a lot just through that. But I've also had my eyes opened to something that I didn't think was in the United States, let alone in my town. I learned what to look for if I thought that there was dogfighting around me. I learned what to do about it. I learned who to contact. And I learned that if there are people like me and my fiance who are able to open their homes and their heart to an animal that has had to suffer through this, we can be rewarded by the most amazing, loving members of the family like Holly. And I'm just so thankful and grateful that one day I was driving down the road and I saw this dog that needed my help. And throughout this whole process, I've had her for 2 years now. Her birthday's in a couple weeks. And I'm just so happy and excited to go down this path with my rescued dogfighting pit bull. I know there's a huge stigma around the breed of a pit bull, and I know that there are a lot of people who have been hurt by dogs and specifically by pit bulls at certain times. I encourage you to just open your minds, open your hearts, and just try to get to know at least one pit bull, or do research, or see my dog and just see how hurt these animals can be and how amazing they can be afterwards. And if I hadn't opened my heart and my home to Holly, who had been through so much, I would not be the same person that I am today. And I hope that I can encourage anyone watching to see a pit bull or a dog from dogfighting or just any animal that has been through a lot and see that maybe all they need is a loving and caring home, and they can turn into the best animal that you've ever had. If you feel like dogfighting is an issue in your area and you have evidence that might be able to help the police find these dogfighting rings and stop them, please, please, please call the number down on the screen here and let them know exactly what's going on, what you've seen, what you've heard, because the only way that we can stop dogfighting from happening in our country is by talking about it. So it can't be some kind of hush-hush thing or something that we're incredibly scared of. We have to take action and make sure that this doesn't happen to any other innocent animals. So thank you for watching. I know that this isn't the normal videos that I make, but I've told Holly's story to so many people, and I just wanted to tell it again in a medium that can get a little bit farther than just the people coming over to my house and meeting her. If you have any questions or anything related to dog fighting or pit bulls or nonprofits or any ways that you can help, then let me know in the comments down below. I will do my best to answer them, and if not, I will point you in the direction of the right avenue in order to get your questions answered. I can just tell you my experience, and I've worked with a lot of other organizations that are pit bull advocacy centers, and I'm just so impressed by the amount of people that care, and I'm also very sad by the amount of people that just don't give it a chance. I hope at least with this video I can encourage you to take a chance on an animal that needs some love and see what you and what that animal can get out of it. This is something that I felt really strongly about, and I have felt this way for a really long time, years before I even found Holly, which is why I think I was the only one that stopped on the side of the road to pick up a very mangled pit bull. It's because I knew what pit bulls are capable of in the department of just being loving and caring and amazing creatures, and I wanted to give her a chance, and I'm so thankful and glad that I did. Make sure to subscribe. I make new videos every Monday. I look forward to seeing you next week. I love you. Mwah. Bye.